Welcome to the shooting show. This week we go back to the middle of last winter as Chris Dalton heads out to complete his red hind cull. Plus we bring you all the latest news from the shooting world.
Okay, I've got Dean with me this morning. We spoke to the shepherd spoke to me last night. They've got some tubs of molasses out for the sheep. The pregnant ewes up on the top of the moor here. We're right down on the coast at Cairn Ryan, and reds are coming out at night from the forest and they're taking all the molasses, so he's not best pleased. So we're going to get up there before it gets light this morning and get out onto the top of the moor and just see what's happening. They missed me turning there. Quite a nice morning. There's a chance of a bit of drizzle. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad and we can film what's going on. We've probably it's about half an hour from Garryluk to get down here, so we've probably got another half an hour or so before the light comes up. It should just nicely give us time to get organised and get into position, and we'll see what's what. But the reds are notorious for coming out of the forest in the cover of darkness and then disappearing back in again before you can actually see them. That's always a bit of a problem, so sometimes you get up here and you'll see nothing as the light comes up, but overnight there's probably been 25 or 30 sort of reds out. Get some nice big stags up here as well, so I'm quite pleased they're eating the molasses in one way, but obviously we've got to think about the estate, so we'll go and see what we've got.
Stalking doesn't end with pulling the trigger. Sometimes that's just when the hardship begins. Chris is about to find that out as he embarks on a morning hind stalk on some tricky terrain.
The deer have been coming into salt licks and it had been causing a few issues for the shepherd. Quite a nice stalk, quite a difficult crawling actually. We got into a valley which sort of drops away quite steeply. Definitely got some deer up here somewhere, so we get over this crest and see what we've got, but he's definitely picking deer scent up. Quite a way down below, as you can see on the footage, the triage kind of laid down in the grass. Quite a cold morning actually. It set off quite warm and it got really cool. We were a long way out from home, from base.
It's all going swimmingly as the hinds show up right on cue. After a short crawl, Chris is in position and can pick a suitable hind from the three in sight.
Okay, we've got there's a mature hind laid up on the back of the group. There's a calf tucked in the rushes just in front, but there's a yearling hind which is actually laid down near the fence, kind of on the right hand side from where I am. I think we'll take the yearling out of that group. We'll leave the hind in the calf. I can just get to past the fence post. I've got quite a good shot from here. Looking at yeah, it's 190. 190 from here. Okay, that yearling neck shot never moved. In fact, the hind's still laid there, doesn't know what's happening. And the calf, you can see the calf now just put its head up.
That should be a wrap, but with the carcass lying at the bottom of a steep drop, getting it out is going to be a challenge. Luckily, Chris has a plan.
that's an Argo job. I think we're a long way from base out here. I think we'll probably go back and have a bit of breakfast after doing a growlock, and we'll come back with the Argo. And we'll get a bit of warm coat on as well. It's gone flipping cold this morning. So it certainly was a drive back up to Garaloop, which is probably best part of 45 minutes, to fetch the Argo to go back and recover the hind. Normally you would just do a hill growlock if you're going to have to drag a deer a long way, but if you can get your machine in completely into your deer, then we can do a full growlock, which is what I did on the hind. Completely eviscerated it, left it cool. I mean, the temperature dropped quite dramatically. In fact, I was quite cold. The exertions of a crawl and a long stalk, and then you know, you're having to wait for a while. It does actually get quite cool sometimes. So it was nice to get back home. We actually had breakfast, had a shower and got changed and some warmer clothes on to go back and fetch the hind. Okay, we've been to get the Argo cat, which is going to make life an awful lot easier. A bit tricky to get to where the hind is laid, but we should be able to get there. This is one of the best bits of kits invented for hill stalking. I mean, fortunately temperatures really drop, so it's ideal. You can leave a deer in that scenario, you know, for 2 or 3 hours. It's not a problem till you can get into it, recover it with the machine. I mean, the Argo cat's an absolute blessing for the hill stalking. We really struggle without it. I would have hated to have had to drag, even though it's big enough as a yearling, but I would have hated to have to drag that all the way back to where we could get the vehicle to.
With his 8-wheeled assistance, Chris can finally head back out and finish the job. Chris there, finally managing to complete the extraction, and now the shooting show news.
This is the shooting show news. Yet more companies are distancing themselves from an anti-shooting campaign promoted by Chris Packham. Thompson, Premier Inn and Costa Coffee have added themselves to the list of businesses that say they have no connection to the campaign despite being quoted as supporters. Some have asked for their logos to be taken off the campaign website. The campaign was started by a group called Ethical Consumer. Bask said there was a certain irony that it had been behaving in such an unethical manner. Animal rights groups have called for airgun licensing to be imposed in England and Wales, just like it is in Scotland. The RSPCA backed an online petition that described airguns as deadly weapons and says a lack of legislation is to blame for the use of airguns to injure non-quarry animals, something that is already an offence. Airgun licensing came into effect in Scotland at the start of this year, but it's estimated that owing to delays in processing applications, thousands of shooters are still waiting for their certificate to arrive. Excitement is mounting for the Midland Game Fair, which comes to Weston Park on the 16th and 17th of September. As always, there'll be a huge number of trade stands with brands and retailers galore, from shotguns and rifles to lamps, knives and callers. There'll also be the customary lineup of main arena attractions, a clay line, airgun expo, gun dog championships and food festival. Get your tickets now from midlandgamefair.co.uk. Don't forget, there's just a week left to get your bids in for Sporting Rifles Save the Rhino auction. The magazine has already raised nearly £20,000 in pledges, and you could help raise that total further by bidding on a range of sporting lots. Head to the Sporting Rifle website for the full list or pick up the latest issue. Bids close on the 5th of September at noon. That was the shooting show news.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you're not a member of Bask, it's time to join now. Bask, looking after your sport, looking after you. This has been The Shooting Show.